Watch out!
There's a group of fireworks hotshots who call themselves GFA PYRO.
I love when my guys get excited.
I get to blow stuff out for fun.
They're a small company. To be number one, they're going to have to blow away the competition. One explosion at a time. This time on Pyros. The biggest fireworks competition in the world takes our Pyros on a wild ride.
We got people from the public in between the two ramps.
And when GFA battles on the international stage, the gloves come off.
I'm going to make sure that they lose points.
Eric, Philippe, and Benoit are in Berlin. Their mission, go head-to-head with 5 international heavyweights and win gold at the World Championship of Fireworks, PYRO Now.
If you're good enough to win PYRO Now, you're probably one of the best in the world.
The boys from GFA have come ready to fight. But first, they need to find the battleground.
I don't know if this guy knows where he's going.
Where the hell are we?
Turns out the firing site is way across town from their hotel.
I thought Montreal's traffic was bad, but Berlin's way worse.
We'll never get there. We wanted to get there early because we're always nervous to get the job started.
Finally, jeez. Quick, get out! Man, fly!
Until then, it's just a big question mark.
The other question mark is why the competition organizers put them in a hotel so far away.
I got to meet Thomas Heinz, or the German tech that was assigned to us, but it was too bad for him. I was in a pretty pissy mood.
Berlin is sometimes a big city. Sometimes it's like a village, but sometimes
it's also. And there's many hotels in a big city.
It is, yeah. I don't make the bookings.
Yeah,
sorry for it.
Just to put us in a good mood on the first day.
The boys are already 2 hours behind schedule. Showtime is tomorrow night.
We got in a little late. We want to get things moving.
Want to get as much done as we can today.
Lucky for them,
No hammering with the system. It's pretty cool.
Oh, so just like they pinned it, then. Oh, it's just jack, that's it.
usually they have to nail their mortar racks together. With this German system, everything just slides into place.
Ah, well done. Like it. It's a good system.
German engineering, you know?
Yes, I know.
They're setting up on infamous ground, Berlin's Olympic Stadium.
This was built in the days where Hitler was in power before the war, and he'd have his big ceremonies here. And what year was the Olympic Games? 1936?
1936 Olympics is the Olympic Stadium. This was where the Nazis come together, have their parade. They try to prove the world how good their philosophy is. But yeah, everybody knows how it goes later on.
Today, 6 teams: Britain, Finland, Poland, Russia, Malta, and Canada are about to fight on this historic turf. To keep things fair, the battlefield is carefully divided up. One zone for ground effects, one for medium-sized mines and shells, and one for the biggest effects. Each country will get a narrow strip in each zone. S01e06, PYRO Now's technical coordinator, patrols the borders.
I have to look that all is running good and under the German regulations. And then also, of course, I'm responsible that we have enough sun.
He's a colorful character, but he's a little rough around the edges.
Normally, sometimes some big plate with it is coming here. Yeah.
Swearing Sven tells it like it is, because after 6 years at PYRO Now, he knows.
if you want to win, you have to have very good effects. Very special effects from Italy, from Spain, and these effects are very expensive. If you shoot cheaper, you will not win here. That's it.
That's why Eric and Benoit put their whole budget into the best quality pyro. But the other teams may have invested even more.
It's an army from Malta here working against us.
We are just only 40 for Canada, and we can count maybe 15 people. So the proportion is 1 people from Canada equal 3 or 4 people from Malta.
Malta actually has a 22-man team, a huge manpower advantage, especially without any horsepower.
The main challenge is the walking distance. The distance we have to cover with the equipment is a good 300-400 meter walk.
But some teams manage to drive around the regulations.
The Polish team brought a super big truck right close to the firing zone, and we were told we had to walk our equipment on the field, you know.
The Canadians aren't the only ones upset with the infraction.
We're not allowed to have our vehicles in here today. You know, it's one of their rules. Isn't that theirs? This team come up in a big lorry and park there, and that's where they do all their work. Or as we English say, it's not really cricket, is it?
As rivals crowd the field, paranoia creeps in.
I just turned around and realized there were like 4 guys staring at us.
Maybe they think we're pretty good looking.
But some of the paranoia may be warranted. The Maltese team has carted in a Trojan horse.
It's a secret weapon from Malta.
It's not common in Europe, not common in America, it's not common in Canada, it's nowhere common, so it's very special. Not allowed to film.
Malta is one of Europe's smallest nations, but they're compensating with the largest and most elaborate ground effect.
They make these Maltese wheels that's really, really something special. I mean, I couldn't even make one if I wanted to.
The Maltese wheel is a complex mechanical set piece. An electric motor turns 4 axles with spokes arranged in a big wheel. Rocket-type effects called gerbs attached to the moving parts create a giant burning 3-dimensional kaleidoscope.
But sometimes you feel that the inside wheel goes inside, outside, inside. It's a little bit magic. And if it works, I think we'll say, oh, nice.
But the threat of the Maltese wheel isn't exactly making GFA run for cover.
It's definitely a cool effect, but it's going to be one little thing in the center. It's a big field, so I don't know if it's the perfect place to shoot it.
Besides, the Canadians are deploying their own special effect.
You cannot only shoot shells and candles. You have to be a little more creative.
Fais juste attention, on va peut-être la coucher plus de ce côté-ci, ou tu vas la tenir.
That's a plan. This is the psychedelic bar. It's a cool effect.
That's a sort of a secret weapon, special effects.
These are strobe lights. These will light for 1 minute and they strobe pretty cool. So that's what the psychedelic effect is. It's kind of,
We have a wheel.
That's our Canadian wheel.
This is a Canadian wheel.
The little team from Montreal is determined to hold its own.
Small company that does big things.
But Tony Busito, Malta's team captain, knows how to play the game. He's wangled permission to put 3 of his huge wheels far up front, outside of his allotted space.
They're setting up 50 meters closer to the crowd. So, I mean, it's an advantage. They're halfway closer to the crowd than we are.
Eric tries to get the same front row advantage for his psychedelic bars.
Yeah. I seriously think my effects would be much nicer in the front.
But I don't think that they will allow you then to do this.
Why not? It's not fair. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, sure. I understand, yeah.
But the wily Mr. Busatil managed to get the rules bent before he entered the competition.
When I applied, I told them, listen, I will bring my ways, but I have to put them 50 meters away from the public. Do you accept? They told me, okay. So so I came.
Maybe they thought nobody would complain, but we did.
The organizer came and told me there is a complaint. I told him, listen, that was not our agreement.
I'll keep fighting for it. It's kind of crazy. Because it's no fair. Rules are rules.
Rules are rules, but
it is also important that the audience every year says, wow, and I'm coming again, because without the tickets we couldn't do it.
Let's go.
What's that?
Tony Busatil keeps his upfront advantage.
I'm here to win this championship because it is very important for the company's name. That's why I competed here.
Looks like the Maltese are already posing for their victory photo.
I think I'm going to win.
GFA is outnumbered and outgunned, but they're betting they can still take home a trophy. Tomorrow night, they'll find out.
Let the best team win.
The boys from GFA are locked in battle with 5 other teams at the World Pyro Musical Championship in Berlin.
Here we are. Oh, yeah.
Pyro.
It's day 2, show day.
Yeah, today's D-Day.
Getting close to the end.
Eric's wounds are still fresh from yesterday's conflict. Team Malta erected 3 of their secret weapons inside the no pyro zone and got away with it.
Malta, out of all the teams, they're definitely the most aggressive.
But there are 4 other armies in this war. The battlefield is filling up with pyro, carefully laid out by the British, the Finns, and the Poles. The Russians, though, are still hunkered down in a bunker on the Eastern Front.
You don't see them on the field, but the work's being done out there.
Suddenly, the Russian army charges into action. Instead of complicated wheels and multi-burst shells, they deploy hundreds of single-shot ground effects along their front line.
They have lots and lots and lots of small effects because you're putting all your efforts into showing the jury that you can synchronize well with music.
The Polish team seems to be doing the same. Eric thought this war would be fought in the air, but it may be won or lost on the ground.
In other competitions, sometimes it's more about feeling and artistry, but now it seemed to be about those lower ground effects.
Soon, the 2 sworn enemies, Malta and Canada, get into a second skirmish over territory. In Section A, the one closest to the audience,
You can see on the ground here we have the lines that show the corridors to use. So here I'm in the corridor of the Maltese, and right here I'm in our corridor. So it's a very tight space, and they used it to the limit.
Malta has set up ground effects right on its border with Canada. Their show will rain fallout on GFA's setup.
They have some effects pointing towards our effects, so the sparks of his fireworks might light ours.
It makes you wonder if they did it on purpose. Is this payback just because we complained to the organization?
Sven, the technical director, noticed the same thing we did.
I speak with the guys from there. Normally, I'm surprised that's behind. Normally, it must be on the
That's what I was thinking as well.
Sven calls Tony, captain of Team Malta, who sends an envoy with a message.
And at this position, we are so full here.
I know, but I'm sure you could go over your zone. But I don't know.
But why don't you place it at the backside of this position?
Because I will have problems with the other people in back, and I have big volcanoes.
It will be easy just to move your pole.
But the Maltese know, inside their own zone, they don't have to move anything.
It's for you to move it is not an option, huh?
You really ask me this?
The Maltese aren't inclined to do any favors for their rivals, putting the Canadians on the defensive.
Okay, man, it looks like our only option now is aluminum.
All the boys can do is wrap their psychedelic bar in foil and hope that it protects it from the enemy's shrapnel.
Okay. Don't go past the line.
Showtime nears, and over 30,000 people fill the stands.
It'd be nice to bring a little souvenir.
Yeah, we'll see. So then,
that kind of souvenir I would like.
GFA's arch nemesis, Malta, leads off.
Malta Fireworks, Tony Busutil.
something wrong with the left side is not working. There you go. Now you have both sides.
I was really curious to see those Maltese wheels light up, to see how the crowd would react.
The Maltese wheel turns out to be a huge hit. But will the rest of the show be good enough to get Malta onto the podium?
I thought it was a good show, you know, completely different from our show, so really hard to compare.
Tony gave it his best shot. The Russians are on deck with their intimidating armory of single-shot effects.
We've just heard over the radio that they've been having problems with their firing system.
That's not too good for them, no.
The Russian one-shots make a bold and perfect opening with the music.
Wow.
The show is going to be hard to beat. But soon, Hugues spots cracks in the Russian front.
Yeah, there's some stuff missing. You can see the left side of the field's not firing, and then the right side of the field is not firing.
The British show has its own problems. It starts big, but goes out of sync with the music. In a pyro musical contest, that can ruin their chances.
I think the British show was not tight, not synchronized enough to be even considered on the podium.
Poland won the silver last year. They're back with a vengeance. They want the gold this year.
The Polish show's good. Synchronized, symmetrical, nice and clean.
The Polish finale is the most spectacular yet. And it ignites the loudest crowd response.
Nice product. Good show.
Now, Canada has got to follow that performance.
From our point, we are okay, yeah?
I'm ready to shoot.
Okay.
For GFA, it all comes down to the next 15 minutes.
Okay, nobody step on those wires, otherwise I get crazy, man.
Adrenaline is at its maximum. This is it. This is what we work for.
Aus Kanada, die gelben Biathlons Ampelmann.
Malta, Britain, Russia, and Poland have given their best at the World Championship of Fireworks. GFA is next.
I'm ready to shoot.
Okay. Sven für Thomas. Von unserer Seite ist okay.
A good showing tonight could catapult GFA into the big leagues.
After the Maltese show, we were pretty confident GFA could have a really good chance to be in the first three position.
Aus Kanada, die gelben Biathlons Ampelmann.
Canada's show does start confidently with rapid-fire Roman candles. And margarita shells with silver whirlwinds.
Looking good, I like it.
The show builds. Eric and Benoit chose their effects carefully, and they've placed them with precision. The psychedelic bars frame the finale. A wall of strobes fires to the thunder of maroon shells. Maroons produce only a bright flash and a tremendous boom. No other team has shot anything like them. Malta's team leader takes note.
I'm happy, man. Good job. I'm happy, man. I'm really happy. It wasn't like an over-exaggerated, fill the sky. It was precision, nice product at the right moment in the music.
I think we're in it for sure. We had close to a perfect fire, so really happy with the way it turned out.
Malta fired their show first, but Tony Busatil still has one more shot. And he's got GFA in his sights.
They have used something which they were not supposed to use. We call them maroons, which makes a big bang, like a bomb, boom, boom, boom. So we have to see about it.
Yeah.
Tony lodges a complaint with the officials, but GFA still doesn't know they may have shot themselves in the foot.
Now we can relax and have fun.
Last is the team from Finland. They kept a low profile during the setup, but now...
Never heard of Finland and fireworks, never heard of this company.
Their dramatic show takes everyone by surprise.
Oh, man.
Timing. Mix of shells. Music. It's all there.
Really, really, really entertaining show. In my opinion, they pulled it off perfectly. Nice.
I'm super impressed. I watched the show and I went, ouch.
Yeah.
I think the finish show was probably one of the best pyro shows I've saw in my life.
The evening is over, except for the awards.
We'll see, it all depends on the opinions of the crowd and jury, so...
As the results are announced, the Canadians still don't know about the Maltese complaint.
Is order. Geht an PYRO Finnland. Für Bronze ist gefahren. Und das ist Russland. All the teams on stage, please.
The boys from GFA believe their show was better designed and better executed than the Russians.
Mine between Finland and Poland in first and second prize. I'm a little bit surprised with the Russians in third. I think there's too many technical mistakes for them to win.
Next morning, Eric and Hugues finally find out they shot themselves down with their own maroon shells.
We call that in German Blitzknallbombe. This is an effect which just makes noise, no effect. This is strictly forbidden.
GFA misread the rules.
We thought we were allowed to use it with another product in the sky at the same time. It was really disappointing to hear that we would most likely have been into the top 3 prizes of the competition.
During the setup, GFA complained that the rivals weren't playing by the rules. The irony isn't lost on Eric.
I'm making sure everybody else is following the rules and I'm the one that loses because of them. The big lesson is, you know, stick by the rules.
The boys from GFA are back on home turf, and they're working on their British accents.
27.
They're not battling the Brits anymore. Today, they're allies. It's international diplomacy, Pyro style, orchestrated by the boss, Mode Frittato. Every summer, Pyro companies from 8 countries duke it out here at the La Ronde amusement park in Montreal.
La Ronde is la crème de la crème. I mean, all the best companies go there and display.
It's a huge event, and time is so short that even GFA's boss is helping out in the trenches.
Yeah, Mode is working on the field. Take a picture of that. It's rare.
I chose my ramp, you know, more shade in this one.
30 to 24.
Tomorrow night is Britain's show, and Mode's brought her team to help out, to pay back a favor.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive.
Last year in Belgium, Graham Wilkinson, the British team's leader, jumped in to help Mode and Seb set up a difficult show.
Start. You just plug it in, you press the button.
I want one like that. You can forget it here if you want.
They really helped us out last year, so we just want to give them some of our time as well.
You know, in this industry, it's important sometimes to pay back your friend. Otherwise, you have only enemy.
At this venue, even seasoned competitors like Graham are glad to get any help they can. La Ronde is a monster of an amusement park with its own amphitheater custom built for fireworks. Starting with a permanent control booth right above the viewing stands. But you can't just run your wires all over the ground here. A network of permanent underground cables runs from the control booth beneath a pond to a central hub. From there, they run to 2 floating launch sites made for Roman candles, volcanoes, and water effects. Another position for rockets and flying saucers. And a 4th for the heavy artillery. La Ronde is a high-tech pyro shooting gallery. But it doesn't come with an instruction manual.
How's it going?
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Graham has lucked into the best helping hand he could ever hope for. The La Ronde fireworks site was Mode's playground when she was a kid.
I kind of grew up surrounded by fireworks, actually. My father is the initiator of this competition here in Montreal 27 years ago.
Mode was drawn into the world of pyro by her father's early work. and she was quickly hooked.
I guess we have black powder running in our bloods now. Yeah?
Today, she runs GFA.
Hello there. All the big shells are loaded?
No, just 10 in.
Graham's team has invested heavily in this show. Over 10,000 effects.
I guess Graham wanted to impress the crowds.
The British show is 6 times the size of most.
It takes like 3 days to set up, and there's more than 20 people working on site.
PYRO is one of the biggest competition in the world.
Maud and Philippe make a tight team, even under pressure, and they should. They've known each other for half a lifetime.
We did a lot of shows together, actually.
Hundreds?
Yes, hundreds of shows together.
Yeah, we were roommates 14 years ago. And we were roommates.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, not that long, huh? After working so much together and spending too much time together, at one point we were like, no more.
Actually, she wanted something more, and I said no.
That's great. Test is good.
The Brits have brought some new types of nautical shells. But the festival's technical director needs to test them out before they're unleashed on the crowd tonight.
It's going to be 3 fountains. They are slightly angled so that when the shell will come into the water, it's going to rotate slowly with the fountain on.
C'est 30 degrés.
The audience will be just 80 meters away, and these are low-flying shells.
Once we fire a shell and it went directly on stage. So that's why we do this. If you place it at 30-degree angle, it will go 40 to 60 meters away. Theory. Yes, it's working perfectly. The distance is great. In the daytime, it's not that good, but normally at night, it's wonderful.
It's late afternoon, and it's been a long slog under a blistering sun.
20.
But the work is getting done.
Working with British always involve having a beer afterwards.
Very, very hot. It's like the desert. I have sand all around me. Yeah, I have sand everywhere. Every orifice.
Day's end. Time to cool off. Everyone thinks things are well in hand.
We had a really good vibe on the site as everybody worked really hard.
Tomorrow is show day.
When we left the site, the sky looked clear. We thought we were safe for the night.
Philippe has just the spot for dinner.
I invited all the crew to my restaurant.
Brut is Philippe's new business venture and a new passion that is competing with his old love, Pyro.
Okay, let's go, Phil. Come on.
I've known Philip for a long time, and I would hate it if he didn't have time for doing pyro anymore.
But while his friends enjoy the ambiance inside, all hell has broken loose outside.
It's raining pretty intense right now, so it's quite surprising.
We're getting a little worried for how the material was covered. Maybe woke up tomorrow with many problems tomorrow at La Ronde.
A single hour of a storm like this can wash away days of hard work. And the show is only 21 hours away. Less than 24 hours before showtime at a huge fireworks competition, a surprise thunderstorm threatens to wash GFA's work down the drain.
We're gonna sleep and woke up tomorrow with many problems.
The next morning, it's bright and sunny. But the Pyros have to assess the damage from last night's downpour.
What we got last night wasn't just normal rain. It was a bit of a monsoon, wasn't it? You can see an inch of water on the top of the plastic.
Not good. Cold.
If the fuses are damp at all, the electric igniters can't light them. The fireworks will all stay on the ground, and Britain's crack at a gold trophy will be a dud.
See, the moisture's got into that one.
Philippe does what he can. The only thing to do is trim each one back.
So we have to cut them where they're dry and reconnect them again. So we're supposed to have maybe an hour of work today. It's gonna end up maybe in a full day.
While Maude and her team race to repair all the wet fuses, at the hub, the central switchboard that all the firing cables run through,
Yes.
the festival's technical director and the Brits' technical wizard test the firing system.
We're testing now.
This software tests the communications to the actual modules. If you see lots of green, that's good. If you start seeing orange and red, it means that communication is being lost.
They're seeing plenty of red and orange.
No, we've got a problem.
Module 59 has become intermittent.
No communication, no launch. They need everything to go green. Paul is a man of action.
So maybe there's high resistance on box 1.
Could be.
And maybe on box 5.
Yeah.
But Rodney prefers careful analysis and more testing.
Still the same thing.
He likes to test and retest and overtest. I mean, you cannot allow yourself to take 2, 3, 4 hours just to test.
I think this is an electrical noise issue.
An intermittent connection is a Pyro's nightmare.
You think you have found the solution, but half an hour later, it's not okay.
What would cause a signal to come and go?
55, 60, and 65.
Bad. We refer to this as chasing ghosts.
There may be ghosts in the machine, but crowds of real people are already gathering outside. It's less than 3 hours till showtime. And Graham and the team are feeling the pressure.
Have we done everything? Tested?
No. Ramp 1.
Still on ramp 1?
Yes.
It was taking forever. We just wanted to get rid of that testing.
You can't go running all over the place, otherwise you're just not going to fix anything.
Then, Paul has a hunch.
Paul, François?
He thinks the intermittent connection could be caused by too many short cables strung together in a row.
Listening? Let's put the one in bunker 5.
Try it in bunker 4.
Okay. We've added a lot of small cable together, but at each junction, it creates a resistance on the network.
Paul wants to try replacing those cables. It's the only idea he can come up with.
So now François changed it for only one cable.
If this doesn't work, a lot of Team Britain's big shells won't be firing tonight.
Okay, you can test now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well done.
A single new cable put an end to hours of troubleshooting. And that cable makes Maude and Graham as ready as they'll be for tonight's show. As night falls, the police turn the bridge into a viewing gallery. More than 250,000 people flock to the site. 3 minutes to go. Everyone's hoping Paul's last-minute cable switch has chased away all the ghosts.
You just have to stand back and hope it goes okay.
There's nothing Graham can do now. He takes a seat in the stands, along with Maude.
We are still waiting till it go up to 21:59. Then we'll know if everything's working.
30 seconds of time code. There is a degree of apprehension when you're going into the final minute of countdown.
1 minute before launch time is when Rodney's firing system should lock on to the sound booth's time code signal.
3, 2, 1, time code. Time code received and counting.
Mesdames, Messieurs, la firme PYRO 2000 de l'Angleterre nous présente ce soir. La fête commence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But just seconds after a triumphant beginning, it may all be over.
Oui, allô? Oh my God. Là, arrêtez-les. Arrêtez-les. Non, on peut pas arrêter ça. Si j'arrête le feu, c'est catastrophique. We got people in between the two ramps. People from the public.
The firing ramps are alive with exploding rounds. It's dangerous now, but soon, Graham's biggest shells will be going off. If Paul can't clear the intruders before that, he and Rodney will have to stop the show.
Non, intervenez. Qui c'est qui est là? C'est la sécurité qui est là?
Security races into the breach. But from up here, the crew can't see the interlopers. The Pyros gamble. They let the show go on and pray no one's in the line of fire down there.
Oui, allô? C'est beau, ça a l'air, ils ont réussi à prendre des personnes. Right, okay.
The ramps are clear. Rodney can take his hand off the kill switch. The rest of Graham's 10,000 effects launch on the water. Off the ramps and deep into the sky.
Good stuff, seriously.
So we can have a beer now?
Yes, we do.
One day, I would love to win this competition. There's still a place on my desk for the gold trophy, eventually.
Maude has done her bit to keep her dad's legacy alive and helped her friends pull off a spectacular show. But she won't get the same help in Britain. Next time on Pyros, GFA heads across the pond to Blackpool, England.
What's wrong with you crazy people that are here?
Where the helping hand is the one that sinks them. As they try to launch Pyro off a windswept pier.
I don't hear the music.
And unleash a firestorm in the Valley of Eternal Rain.
Cue. Phil.